Hey, Bruce at the International Mustang Meet here, the 42nd annual version of it. The International Mustang Meet between the United States and Canada, since it's one of the few holidays we share between the two countries. So Boise is now hosting it with the Treasure Valley Mustang Club. And so we're in Meridian, Idaho here today. We've got our stuff on display, so I wanted to kind of go through a few of the cars and what makes the passion behind Modern Driveline what it is today. The car I'm standing in front of today is a 1965 Mustang coupe, and it's really kind of what started or inspired me to be in the 5- and 6-speed conversion business. So this car came to me as a automatic, originally a 6-cylinder car. A friend of mine in San Jose, California originally owned the car, got it from the original owner who actually won it in a giveaway. So he acquired the car, wanted to make a hot rod out of it, and didn't see the project through. So I contacted my friend, and he basically said, hey, you know, I've got this project car, I don't seem to be finishing it, would you be interested in the car? Well, at the time I wasn't quite ready, and so a year later I contacted him and I said, hey, you still selling that car? Well, not really, I'd like to finish it. Well, long story short, we negotiated and I acquired the car, and I started putting the car together, and I basically put a V8 in with the original automatic that he had acquired for the car. Well, after driving the car for about a year, I decided an automatic really wasn't good for me. So working for a gentleman named Charlie Bruno at Charlie's Mustangs in San Jose, California, working on a lot of 5.0s, I decided to say, hey, what would it take to put a 5-speed T5 into a 65 Mustang? Well, we started dabbling on it, and we came up with some parts and looking at what was in the industry, and I wasn't satisfied with what I saw. So we created a whole bunch of parts and made a cross member for it, and started doing cable kits, and essentially my company at Modern Driveline was born. So this car is still with me today. It's undergone many changes and modifications, but wonderful car to drive, and we obviously offer the 5 speeds for these cars on a regular basis, and you can see some of our other videos on that. Next car I have in line is a car that, again, is a passion of mine. This car here was originally owned by Charlie Bruno, and unfortunately we lost Charlie in 2001. When the car was in the shop at Charlie's place, it was literally a shell. There was a hood, 2 doors, there was a top, a dash, and a trunk lid. No other parts were attached. So after 14 years of restoration, I brought it to the car that you see today. It hasn't been with a lot of sponsorship and additional people sponsoring me and giving me support. I had people like Glazerous Paint, I had TMI with the interior, National Parts Depot provide a lot of the trim and pieces and the top for the car. Maximum Motorsport was very generous in providing a complete suspension for the car, so it's got Maximum Motorsport coilovers and tubular K-member. Bear Racing, it's got the big brakes on the car, more brakes than I'll ever need for a date car. So the car is got a 5-liter, 5-speed in it. So it's I'll say a warmed over, fun car to drive. It's got a ton of welding and suspension by Charlie back in the day. And it's something that my wife and I can go on a date with, so we really enjoy it. The car that I have down here is a car that I've had the longest. I bought this car originally in Burlington, Vermont when I lived there. It was a graduation present to myself from attending college, and I bought it as an 88 GT. It was originally black with silver on the bottom with a red stripe along the edge here, which was popular in the day. And when the 1993 Cobra came out, I decided that that is the car that I wanted, but I wasn't willing to sell this car. So I had a friend of mine wreck his 93 Cobra, and I acquired the unique parts that do make the car a Cobra. So I converted the car from the GT to the to the Cobra that you see today. So I've equipped it with a 331 stroker, AFR heads, honed extruded 93 Cobra intake with a lot of other supporting parts. The car was originally a 5-speed T5 5-speed transmission. However, now it is sporting a Tremec Magnum 6-speed. So we did a complete article and the conversion on that, in which it bolts right into the tunnel without any modifications. From there, we basically had to put in a hydraulic system, because with the 8-quart oil pan and a 6-speed transmission with a fork clocked over at the 7 o'clock degree, I was forced to not be able to use a cable which was in the way of the oil pan, which then allowed us to develop the Fox body hydraulics and eliminated the cable completely. So from there, we were able to use an internal hydraulic bearing from Tilton Engineering. Next car I have here is a 92 Mustang Coupe. A lot of history with this car. Originally, a friend of mine, Don Rossage, owned the car, ordered the special, and it's actually a first day build car. Built in 1992, and it's serial number 93. So it's unique in that regards. It is also a coupe or a notchback, and Don bought it as a everyday driver. He proceeded to put about 20,000 miles onto the car. And Don open tracked the car on a regular basis, and Don decided, after numerous modifications, and he installed the blower at the time, that he wanted to buy a house in California. Well, that requires a lot of dollars, so he sold it to Charlie, and Charlie proceeded to take it to the next level. So it ended up having the Nissan 300 ZX wheels taken off, which ironically has the same bolt pattern as a Ford. And he went with, at the time, a 1995 Cobra R wheel, and it's also equipped with bare brakes with 14 rotors on it, so large brakes at the time. And the engine makes approximately 500 horsepower at the crank, and it is all being fed through, believe it or not, a virtually unmodified T5Z 5-speed, and one of our MDL Kevlar clutches and aluminum flywheel. And it still sports the cable, so we didn't bother changing that car. However, it is very well equipped with the engine being set back. It's got Griggs Racing suspension with a torque arm in the back and a panhard bar. And I use it for road racing on a regular basis. Not as often as I'd like, but we're looking to change that. The interior is got a full roll cage in it, not quite a full roll, a 4-point cage into it with racing seats, 5-point harness, full instrumentation, and it's a lot of fun to get around the track. A buddy of mine, Jason Squire, has joined us today here at the show, and he has brought his 1993 Cobra R. For those that are not familiar with the R, they only made 170 of these cars, and it was the last year of the Fox body Mustang. So Ford wanted to go out with a big hurrah, and so they produced these limited edition race licensed only cars. They originally made 700 of these cars, and then when they had 107 dealers at the time, and so the other 7 dealers wanted some of these cars as well, so they additionally made 7 more cars, which are nicknamed the lawsuit cars. So Jason here has equipped his R model with Recaro aftermarket seats. He's got a cage inside here. He open tracks it. We chase each other around the track, and we have a lot of fun with these cars. His car has got a stroker motor in it with a G-Force T5 5-speed, and original wheels and brakes on the car. Jason has done fantastic making it look still the part. If you look at the intake, it's got a trick flow intake, however it has the Cobra looking pieces. So he wanted to keep the car looking like it was in the, when the car was put together, but he wanted the additional power that the original R model did not have. So the last car we brought with us today is my recently acquired, in the last couple of years here, 2017 Shelby GT350. This car has gone unmodified. It is great straight out of the box. This car here, I feel, rivals my full track car, and probably better. It doesn't beat you up on the track as nearly as much as my track prep car, and it's just a lot of fun to drive. This car is equipped with Tremix 3160 transmission, 6-speed with a single overdrive. It is from the factory, got a dual disc clutch installed in it, independent rear suspension, obviously big Brembo brakes. So fantastic job with what Ford did with this car. So anyway, that's today's little show here of my cars. It's not too often we get them all out at one time. And any other questions on that, feel free to drop me a line or an email. I'll be glad to tell you more about these cars.